Coming up on this week's Collegian Report, see how some students celebrated their heritage through traditional dance, fashion, and art at the annual Wet 2 with Cheapy. And we talked to a freshman whose vintage style is getting him noticed on campus. The Collegian Report starts now. Welcome back to the Collegian Report. I'm Annie Witt. The city is helping you out with spring cleaning. Starting today, Brookings residents can leave items on their curb for the city to take. Sunday is the last day to separate and place items in tree branches. Pickup begins on Monday. The landfill will also be open from the 13th through the 18th from 7:30 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Saturday. Electronic waste isn't allowed. Residents can drop off their e-waste at the landfill April 13th through 18th. Tires and items with Freon will be taken for a fee. All loads brought to the landfill must also be covered, or you will get a $25 fine. You have to show photo ID or a utility bill as proof of residency. Items should be separated into 3 piles: metals, bulky items, and branches. Branches can't be longer than 6 feet and 12 inches in diameter. For more information and a full list of items that won't be picked up, you can go to the City of Brookings website. It's a tradition rooted in culture and has been at SDSU for 34 years. The American Indian Student Association held their annual Wet 2 with Cheapy last weekend. The event included Native American traditional dancing and drumming, as well as vendors from out of state. The club's Wachipi board has been planning this event for over a year. Wachipi Chair Harley Gullickson said seeing the event come together is rewarding.
It's been a lot sometimes, but overall, especially this weekend and seeing everything come to life, it's been very fulfilling as a leader.
You can see photos from the event on sdsucollegian.com. Few things have stayed the same since 1929, but one downtown restaurant has. Nick's Hamburger Shop is still going strong 97 years after opening. The historic burger spot has been a consistent staple of Brookings for generations. Nick's small U-shaped open design gives customers an up-close look at the food as it's being made. It's also where you can usually find Nick's owner, Justin Price. Price became the owner in the summer of 2025 and made it his mission to keep Nick's legacy alive, one burger, shake, and customer at a time. The shop's simple and local atmosphere are why Price feels Nick's is still thriving after all these years.
It's the only place in town where you have a diner setting where you can sit around on stools, talk to customers, interact with them, and have conversations that start in Brookings. But mainly, I think the big thing with Nick's is it's always been simplicity.
Nick's Hamburger Shop is open 11 to 7 on weekdays and 10 to 4 on Saturdays. This Saturday marks 25 years of State-a-thon. State-a-thon is a part of a dance marathon that works with Children's Miracle Network hospitals. The money raised goes to the Sanford Children's Castle of Care in Sioux Falls. The main event is from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Saturday, but students can get involved on Thursday in a field day from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Union Green. State-a-thon is also hosting a chance to learn the dance and check in early on Friday. Anyone is welcome to join day of, even if they aren't signed up. For more information, you can go to the State-a-thon page at Jack's Club Hub. Freshman Joe Steffes has a passion for all things vintage, especially when it comes to clothing. The history and theater double major says his interest started his sophomore year of high school. Since then, his collection has grown to include pieces from several decades, including SDSU items dating back to the 1950s, and each one has a story.
It has all the records in them, and I can still play them.
For Steffes, what he wears means a lot to him.
I just have a quite big passion for how I present myself, and I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are different. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear things that are, that are unique. And I like to wear th also the history behind the clothes and the difference of in how styles have evolved over time.
He's carried that into how he dresses every day. Even when he's working or staying active, he still finds ways to incorporate his style. After college, he hopes to take his interest in vintage clothing and turn it into a career in historical fashion. Coming up, the Jackrabbit Stampede is returning to Brookings. Taylor Tennant will tell you where and when that you can catch the action on the Jackrabbit Ag Report.
This week's Jackrabbit Ag Report is sponsored by SD Corn.
Welcome back to the Jackrabbit Ag Report. I'm Taylor Tennant. The 70th annual Jackrabbit Stampede is coming to Brookings April 10th and 11th at the Dakota Bank Center. More than 300 college athletes from 15 schools across the Great Plains region will compete, with SDSU hosting and bringing the largest team. Fans can expect events like bareback and saddle bronc riding, steer wrestling, goat tying, tie-down roping, barrel racing, team roping, and bull riding. Performances begin Friday at 7:30 p.m. with 2 more sessions, Saturday at 1 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Tickets are available through the Dakota Bank Center. Ag Week is just around the corner at SDSU. The week-long celebration of agriculture runs April 13th through the 17th with events planned across campus. Monday kicks things off with dodgeball at 7 p.m. in the Animal Science Arena. Tuesday features Scientists for a Day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Raven Atrium. Wednesday starts with the milk run at 6:30 a.m. Participants will meet in the Dairy Science Lobby. Sponsor and club tabling will follow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Student Union. On Wednesday night, the Ag Week banquet will be held at 5 p.m. in Club 71. Thursday includes a picnic and potluck from 5 to 6:30 p.m. in Raven High Bay, followed by Ag Trivia at 6:30 p.m. in Raven 176. Ag Week wraps up Friday with the International Year of the Rangeland celebration from 9 a.m. to noon at McCrory Gardens, and a swing dance from 8 to 10 p.m. at the barn. Coming up, Cordell will tell you which team will be playing their first game in 10 days.
Looking to stay up to date on news around campus? Collegian Media is SDSU's student-run newspaper, radio station, and newscast. From writing to anchoring, taking photos and videos, or selling advertising, Collegian Media gives students in any major the opportunity to get involved. To learn more or to see what's happening on campus, you can visit sdsucollegian.com.
The Collegian Report wardrobe is sponsored by Trends, the sustainable fit.
I'm Cordell Vitens with the sports. The Jackrabbit track and field was split between 2 meets last Friday. The Mike Finelli Distance Carnival was held in San Francisco while the other members were just down the road in Stanford. 7 SDSU athletes recorded personal bests in the California trip, with the most notable coming from junior Will Lohr. Lohr took second place in San Francisco in the 5K with a time of 14 minutes and just over 1 second. Lohr's time was a personal best by more than 27 seconds and good enough to put him at 8th all-time in school history. The Jacks' next meet will be at the Minnesota State Open in Mankato on Saturday. The Jackrabbit baseball team hasn't got back on the field since their 3-game series against Northern Colorado late last month. The Jacks won that series, scoring 42 runs in the final 2 games, only losing the opener 9-6. The Jacks were supposed to host Omaha in a 3-game series last week, but were moved because of weather. They also were scheduled to play a game against Northern State on Tuesday, but that was also postponed. The Jacks will finally get a chance to play again tonight when they travel to Minnesota to take on the Golden Gophers at 6 p.m. Then on Friday, they'll play a 3-game series against the St. Thomas Tommies. First pitch will be at 3 p.m. with the next 2 starting at 1 p.m. The SDSU softball team fell to a 5-4 record in the Summit League after being swept in a 3-game series in Kansas City last week. The first 2 games were part of a doubleheader on Thursday. In the first game, the Jacks fell to the Roos 10-4. The Jacks looked to bounce back in the second and took an early 2-0 lead over Kansas City, but the Roos rallied and held a 7-2 lead in the 7th inning. The Jacks scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th, but came up short 7-5 on Friday. On Friday, the Jacks led 2-1 going into the 4th inning, but the Roos took control. Kansas City scored 2 runs in the 4th and then a final blow in the 7th to win 4-2. SDSU will now look ahead to Georgia Tech and Iowa, who they'll play twice each this weekend in Iowa City. The Jacks will face Georgia Tech first, Saturday at 10 a.m., followed by Iowa at 4 p.m. On Sunday, SDSU will once again open with Georgia Tech at 10 a.m. before playing Iowa at 12:30 p.m. You can watch the Jacks play the Hawkeyes with a Big Ten Plus subscription. That's all for the Collegian Report this week.
You can stay up to date on the latest news at sdsucollegian.com or on social media at SDSU Collegian Media.
Thanks for watching.